Easy yee, how are we?
Johnny, I'm doing all right. A little bit disappointed now.
Oh, disappointed, how so?
Well, I bought me tickets for the World Cup. No, but I had premonitions of myself standing in Mexico cheering any old country on. But the buzz was good, though. I have to say, the buzz was good.
Yeah, but it was nice that they like even 6 months ago. I'm very optimistic looking at this. Go 6 months ago, the Ireland team are not doing anything. We're we're not going to sniff the World Cup playoffs or anything like that. For them to get that far, I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, look, it was good. Like even went and watched the game, but just the buzz of people who had never even seen a soccer team before. Like it was just like everybody was there cheering for whatever reason they didn't even know. But it was just a nice excitement to have everyone on the same team for once, So yeah, it was good, really enjoyable. But that didn't interfere with back to training. Sean, I lasted a week of getting up early to go training.
Oh, but that's actually a huge increase what you normally last. So build a bus on that one, good sir. You last the full week. I would stand, but I'm pretty sore right now. I'll get that in a little bit. But how's your training going?
Training's coming back good. The recovery has gone well. I got some needling done on the knee. Got in a couple of 5Ks. Actually, I had one moment. I was running with my buddy Dave, and we were like a fair weather athlete, and I always admit it. But we went doing intervals to say threshold run, 5 minutes on, 1 minute off, 5 minutes on, and then it finished with 10 minutes on. But it was really cold. I forget what morning it was. Could have been Tuesday morning, maybe Wednesday morning.
Okay.
I can't remember. But we were going for our little trot, and in the first 5 minutes on, now it was 2 degrees or whatever it was. Then it started snowing and it was blowing a gale. And I had only a t-shirt and shorts.
Wednesday morning.
I
was in work Wednesday looking out, seeing it, going, thank God I wasn't running that. It was so cold.
Now, we had 2 treadmills. I was like, why are we going outside? And he's like, oh, no, I hate running on treadmills. So I was like, well, I hate running in the cold. So I was like, right, I'm not going to let this beat me. Come on, let's just go and do it. I regretted it from the first 100 meters. I was so cold. And then when we kicked into the first threshold run, like the wind was straight into our face. It was like I was swimming. If I wanted to take a breath, I had to turn my head to the side, and I just couldn't get my breath. My heart rate went up to 200 beats per minute.
That can't be right.
No, it was terrifying, and I felt horrible. I actually was like, I think I'm going to pass out.
Yeah.
By the time we got to the end, I was looking at him and I was seeing 7 of them. I was like, what the hell is that? I was like, Dave, I'm under pressure. I was like, I think I'm about to keel over. You might have to carry me back. And it was just blurry and everything. And I just think my body was in such shock from the cold and being pushed. So then we were in a kind of sheltered area, and then the wind was on the back pretty much for the next 4K. So I was like, I took the minute break and I was like, okay, I feel all right. I was like, yeah, look, you just kick on. I'm going to slow it down a bit here. And then it was the next one, my heart rate only come up to 180 and I was running at a slightly slower pace and I was a bit nervous for the rest of the run. And then on the third 5 minute interval, it would only get up to 170 and I was running at the same pace. I was like, I actually think I had like a cold shock effect and pushed my body. My body was like, no. So yeah, I still haven't acclimatized back home. But when we looked at the heart rate data after it, you can see our first interval and it's like spike and this outlier, and you see the graph like a peak above the next 3-4. When I did the 10 minute interval in the second half, I brought my pace down to a 4:20, 4:15. My heart rate didn't come above 170. I was like, something happened in that first interval. So that's me done with the cold.
When's the last time you ran that interval at that pace?
Oh, no, that pace I finished a nice 10 mile at that pace.
Okay, we finished. Yeah, we built up to it.
Talking about 2 weeks. Did 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it was. It wasn't like I had gone and done anything. Like, I was comfortable in the legs. It was the one not being able to breathe in the wind.
Yeah.
But the cold, like my left arm, my right arm just kept locking in place. I had to like open them out,
that's
shake
weird.
them out. I was like, what is going on? My body was just freaking out. It was actually, it was a little bit scary. I'm not going to lie. It was
I'd
like,
say so.
I've never had it, but I've drawn the conclusion, if full on cold shock, my body was just didn't know what to do. So next time I'm bringing a jumper everywhere from now on.
For context for newer listeners, Eric's been spending his winter training has been like in heat in Africa and stuff and running. So the last time you ran in snow was probably like 3 years ago or something like that, or whenever you ran.
Yeah, but when I warmed up, it was fine. But no, it was a brief interval. But you were out running. Did you get out today, or are you struggling?
Yeah. So how long ago was Barcelona?
2 weeks, less.
Okay, I was really hoping you wouldn't say that. In my mind, Barcelona was like a month ago. So even though it wasn't, but in my mind, it feels so long ago. It just feels so long. So I got back from Barcelona. I did a 16K on the Sunday. Felt okay. Back in the gym, not doing a lot in the gym, like 6 out of 10 effort, just a bit of movement stuff. And it got to Thursday. I'm like, right, I haven't done any sort of pace work. My last time I did pace work at all was New Year's Day, where everything seized up afterwards. I'm like, I'm just going to go out, ease in, minute on, minute off, and see how it goes. And then I wasn't going fast. The first one was like a 4:07 for me, which is fast. But like after that, I was down to 4:15, 4:20. I wasn't even looking at the watch for pace. I didn't care about it. I just wanted just to feel kind of like strides and a bit faster. It ended up on 4:15. It ended up 4:15. It ended up 4:30. Ended up 4:30. It was just 7 out of 10 effort. And the last couple, I just felt a bit stiff in the back, but nothing major. Like maybe a 2 out of 10 pain, the back and the left hip. I'm like, nothing mad.
Yeah.
So afterwards, we finished up. I got a bit of stretching. We had a big, group meeting out in Clay with the coaches and all the rest. I'm sitting down. I'm like, oh, I can't sit down much anymore. I better stand up. I'm standing up. I'm like, oh, I can't stand up anymore. I'm sitting down. And I'm like, my mind went back to a conversation I had in Barcelona, which still in my mind was a month ago when I was walking back from the Barcelona Marathon with 2 guys in the trip, Joe and Shane. And they're telling me we've got a little problem. I was like, what's your problem? And they go, well, you're after doing a negative split in the marathon, Sean. It's all real good. We're used to you fuck it up somehow. It took me 2 whole weeks to fuck up, Eric. My body was not recovered from the marathon. And I half kind of knew, but I did think it was a long time since. And now when I think about it, obviously it was 2 weeks.
2 weeks is a fair time, though.
10 days. It was 10 days. It should have been all right.
Yeah.
But long story short, the back seized up completely. And it feels like someone got a hammer to my left glute and just fucking nailed it. Like, it was so bad down my leg. I initially thought I did something with my leg, but like, I didn't feel a strain. Like, I finished the runs and I jogged back in. I was like, ooh, I might need to stretch. Just that stiffness kind of feel.
Yeah.
And now it's been awful since. Like, I feel it down my lower back. Like, just now. It's getting better each day. We're at Sunday morning now recording this, and I can walk a little bit now. Sitting down for quite a while is not fun. But yeah, no, I'm already back in the injury report after negative split and all the rest.
To be fair to you, like finishing that marathon strong as you did, a week and a half, 10 days later, that's an
it was silly
time. Well, no, but like 16K would be a reduction in terms of your long runs. Like it wouldn't. I'll give
and that was 16 out of 6
usually I'd abuse you, but on this one that wasn't good because you had come off it feeling so good. So I think we just have to shoot you now.
Yeah, pretty much. Or put me down.
This is the conclusion. We just have to put you down.
Yeah. It's not a thing. I was getting more texts off people like, here, what do you think with this coach? I can't go to a coach when I barely fucking walk right now, so let alone trying to get a running coach and stuff in. But I'm trying to just enjoy my training, get more gym work, and there's a race out in June out in Edinburgh called Spartan. And now this is purely for enjoyment. It's not even for the podcast really, because there's no Spartan races over here, so there's nothing to promote, review, or anything like that. It's just I want to do something different to keep myself training over the summer before going into the Dublin Marathon training and all the rest, but still need a base. So it's 21 obstacles. I get to hang off monkey bars and climb ropes, stuff I haven't done before, and throw spears and carries and all this kind of cool kind of stuff. It's over 21K, 30 obstacles, but here's the kicker. If you fail an obstacle, so let's say I'm going across the monkey bars, the bars are spinning and I slip and fall, it's 30 burpees. for every fail.
Oh
So if I don't
no.
get good at hanging and get good at pull-ups and chin-ups and all that kind of stuff, I'm just going to be doing 30 burpees every half a kilometer to a kilometer before going for another run again until I do a half marathon.
Yeah, that's rough. Now I remember you gave me a gym workout, and the punishment was push-ups. I think if I dropped the bar, I never let
Oh,
it
okay.
go out of fear of the punishment. Like, if I have to do 30 burpees, I will not give up on whatever it is, because it's not worth giving up. You know, like sometimes you could just be a bit soft.
Oh
If you
yeah,
have
yeah.
to do 30 burpees, you're just like, no way. That is far harder than
It's the
completing this
mental battle to keep
exercise.
going. You're like, I just
Yeah,
have to hang on or swing for another 20, 30 seconds of pain to avoid 30 burpees would probably take the best part of, like, I'd say 4 minutes
yeah.
because of you
You're
can't
tired.
you can't blitz them. You're
Yeah,
tired and you got to go run again. So it's just something for, a bit of fun, bit of crack, and just trying to trying to get a little bit more gym work and stuff going, because I have been missing. Like, I've been doing gym work, don't get me wrong, but it's been more kind of like maintenance kind of thing, instead of pushing a little bit more and different challenges in there, because it's been as much running as I could outside it. So I'm looking forward to that end of things for the next couple of months, and just kind of, there's no pressure on it. I mean, if I do, like, no, like if I say come on the podcast afterwards and I finish it, and there's like 3-4 fails and do burpees, or it takes 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. There's no context to that. It's just bit of training, enjoying my training and enjoying the running, because I've been missing that for a bit, and then I really want to make an effort on Dublin then in October. So rather than having marathons and long runs and paces and times and all hanging over me now, and then double hanging over me, because it hasn't worked for me the last couple of years. My Dublin marathons have been like, for me and what I can do, they've been awful. Like, like last year, 3:30 Barcelona, 4:13 Dublin. Makes no sense, you know?
yeah. This is my year to race you now. This is it.
This is it, yeah. You and Jared Copeland going up against me. I'm feeling the pressure as well.
Everybody's been given abuse. I've showed kink in the armor, and now look, they're all coming out. And this next episode is no different. I get
Absolutely.
all the abuse I deserve, and I actually love it. I actually need the abuse. It's fantastic. So the more abuse I get, the better.
That motivates and inspires you to.
No, because people are terrible at slagging, and I always have a good comeback, so it actually makes me feel better about myself. But this episode, they do take a few pot shots. It's a good one this week, Sean.
Absolutely. Good one this week. And also tune in near the end of it, because an opportunity for a race coming up, a great 5-miler coming up in Dublin, coming up in June. So apart from that, great stories in this one, talking about the upcoming 24-hour race in Leixlip as well. So might give you a few different ideas and a few events coming up over the next couple of weeks and months ahead. So with that said, me and you have talked enough. We got straight to this week's episode of the Any Given Run Day podcast. Let's go. Our next guest on the Any Given Run Day podcast has gone from a GAA background to distance running, representing North Clondalkin Running Club. From getting a sub 3 hour in Dublin Marathon last year, he's here to talk about his running journey, as well as the upcoming NCRC 5-mile club race on June 14th, and recently receiving the biggest commodity in running, the AGR bobble hat, courtesy of Erica at Donaghadee 50k last month. Mick Hallows, welcome to this week's episode of the Any Given Run Day podcast. How are you getting on?
Cheers, Sean. Yeah, no, great to be on. Thanks so much for having me. Yeah, quite the intro. The hat was the bribe.
Did you put it on your CV that you got the hat off us?
Oh, absolutely.
Is that now one of your personal achievements?
LinkedIn, first thing on LinkedIn went with the hat went in. Yeah.
Forget about the hat for the minute. We'll get you a t-shirt after this, Mick. But when we look at a great intro and all Sean has given you, but football into running, well, where did it start for you? Obviously football for a long period of time and then transitioned in, or where did you get into sport, or how was it for you?
Yeah, I suppose like most, it was like team sports to start off with, and that was Gaelic and soccer growing up in Clondalkin. That was kind of like they were the two main sports. Although sometimes when you wore a Dublin jersey, you were called the Culture, even though you were in Dublin. So that was a bit strange. And kind of would have played in school a lot, and then like played for Dublin underage, kind of from under 14 up to Dublin minors then, and then would have played with decent level of soccer as well with Cherry Orchard, and kind of, had trials with overseas in England as well with that. But I kind of always had a sporting background. Where the running came into it was probably the latter end of the career, and you're kind of thinking, oh yeah, what's next? But I was always that kind of person who loved pre-season and loved the Broncos, so I think it was always going to happen eventually. There's always one of those two weird people on the team, and I was one of them. Like, I loved that part of it.
Pre-season training, if I go back, well, I dreaded it, genuinely. The thoughts of shuttles, the thoughts of when you put the 4 cones around every corner of the pitch and was like, well, sprint 1, jog 3, sprint. Like, I actually remember them so vividly, and the vomiting that ensued usually afterwards. What was it? Obviously, you'd spent so long developing, you were playing at a high level, you obviously had good potential in your youth, and obviously an engine as well. How important was that physical fitness? Do you think it gave you an advantage, when you enjoy that element of the hardship of the pre-season and the physical running? What did it bring to your game?
Yeah, look, I think there's something in it. There's probably a few parts. Like, the team dynamic can't be lost. Like, I was nearly going to go and say you'd nearly have like a retired GAA players running club, because there's this big gap that's left, because you're nearly institutionalised. You're part of a dressing room and a bit of banter and all that kind of stuff. And then next thing, it's like you're just kind of out on your own, and you're kind of go, well, what's kind of next? I think what sports gives you is like a good grounding in how to like look after yourself, how to eat right, how to prep and so on. But like, there's the whole other part of it where like that's all explosive stuff that you're used to doing, and you're like peaking for seasons, where then you're kind of going and you're running this slower pace, and you're kind of going, everything's messed up in your head and you're kind of questioning it. But I think it definitely gives you the foundation that's needed. It's not like you're going from scratch to a totally new sport. Everybody's like, you run in team sports, but it's probably the bit of the know-how then behind that, because you don't just go from a team sport then into like, running. But it definitely gives you the foundation for it, for a few reasons.
Having played in a high level, and you will say, in some of the youth teams you've mentioned, and Cherry Orchard and Dublin Minors all the way up, and how difficult was it to hang up the boots and step into that unknown of where do the retired lads go? And don't tell me it's Junior D and the over 35s. Where did they all hang out, or what is it? How difficult was that for you?
Yeah, look, and I think everyone treats it slightly differently. I was lucky enough that like I first started playing senior club football at 15, which you're not allowed to do now. Like, you wouldn't be able to do it. And I played right up until like last year. So I was 20 years playing senior football. So I kind of, I hadn't planned on dropping to junior, essentially. A lot of lads would go, oh yeah, we'll drop down, and like you play a few years and you get to play with your mates. I didn't do that. It was kind of like ripping the Band-Aid off, and it's kind of like, yeah, at football, and then it's like, well, how do you fill that void? And it's very like the competitive pieces is a good part as well, which we probably didn't touch on the last thing. Like, running is great, and it's about like beating yourself, getting better yourself all the time. And that competitive nature isn't like, I want to finish first in the park run. It's more like, I want to be better than I was last week or last month or whatever that might look like. But I think that doesn't leave you,
Mm.
So a quick one for you. What's your secret weapon when the legs are feeling tight before a run?
Oh, that pre-run stiffness is real. Lately, Sean, back in my cold environment, I've been reaching for Ultra Pure Wintergreen Heat Rub. It's become a part of my everyday warm-up routine.
Oh, absolutely same here, especially before the odd tempo run I do, or the cold morning miles. I massage into my calves, and Lord knows I need help in my calves, quads, to get that warming sensation going.
The gentle heat really helps me feel ready to move, and the wintergreen gives it that classic comforting sports rub feel.
And it's ideal for those cold training days, or when your muscles need that extra little bit of help to feel ready.
It absorbs easily, so it's perfect for your gym bag, race bag, or even keeping in the car for after a tough session.
So whether you're prepping for a run or easing off afterwards, it's a great addition to your training routine.
So if you're building your training kit, check out Ultra Pure Wintergreen Heat Rub.
Elevate your everyday with UltraPure.
Find it online at ultrapurelabs.ie or in your local pharmacy or health store. By listening to this advert, you are supporting this podcast and Irish businesses. Now let's get back to the episode.
Mick, there's an overlap there as well, because I saw a blog or an article or something that was online about North Clondalkin Running Club. Like, you wouldn't recommend doing this at 24, but near the end of your last couple of seasons playing football, you were starting to do marathons. Like, I think you'd done a Dublin Marathon or maybe even 2 Dublin Marathons at this time. What was that training like, and trying to balance both at that stage at the tail end of football, and having even that foresight to go, okay, I haven't got much time here playing this, but I want to get into another sport as I have this fitness, maybe?
Yeah, well, like, you'll see from the marathon times, the first year I did play the full season and did the marathon, like, and I probably didn't do either well. Like, I was playing Gaelic, but then you were going out and doing a long run on a Sunday, and you'd be back in with the lads trying to train, and you'd be doing sprints, and you're kind of going, "Jim, I'm after doing 30k the weekend here." And they're like, looking at you like,
No sympathy.
what's after happening to this fella? So, like, that was probably year one. Then the following year, so that was within 03, was my first marathon, still playing. Sorry, 23, and then 24, I had a longer block unintentionally. I got sent off, and the lads said I did it on purpose. So I missed the last, like, 3 championship matches, and in Dublin it's like hurling 1 week, football 1 week, hurling. So that actually gave me a 6-week block that I didn't know I was gonna get.
Nice.
And the block I got was like, oh yeah, you're only doing it because you're doing the marathon. So, like, the first year was really tough. Like, and as I said, like, probably wasn't playing the best football, wasn't really running well either. And then, like, the year that I decided, no, I'm done, and that was like the sub-3 year. That's the year just gone when I decided, like, right, let's take this seriously. The Gaelic is gone now, and you're just recovering better. You're able to, like, hit the sessions. You're able to do take the advice for people, unlike you lads do. You seem to have all the experts on and do the opposite. And go, what did Sean and Eric do? I'm going to do the opposite.
That's a good way to take it.
That's why we're here. We're proof of the concept. Don't think we're going to listen to you either, Mick. It's for everyone else.
I'm no expert though. That's the difference.
So, Mick, you're very much still in the transitional phase. Do you look at the pitch? Do you look at the lads going out? Do you still part of the WhatsApp group? Or, I know for me, and I was a hell of a lot longer when I went from playing at a certain level, I just, Sunday league football, from where I'd been, I just said no. I'd given so much of my youth from 9 years of age up until 23. I just walked away. Are you finding it hard to walk away? And I know you've transitioned into a good sport, but do you miss that element of the dressing room? Because even now, there's days I look or I watch a match with Sean and go, do you know what? I could have done, you know, and I do miss it. I do miss it.
Yeah, no, I think I get to recreate kind of the bit of buzz from, like, a race day experience or running well or whatever. But, like, I'm involved with the Dublin ladies now, like the Dublin ladies senior team. So, like, in terms of being involved with a team, I still get that from that aspect of it, which really helps. And then, like, I've got 2 young boys who are starting their own sporting journey now. So, like, they're up in the nursery, like, with local soccer team with Round Towers here. So I'm dragging in to do a bit of coaching there. So whether it was intentional or not, I've kind of tripped into still being involved in team sports, but not physically, you know, exerting myself, but kind of still being able to pick up on that. So that's probably made it a bit easier that I'm still around, like, with the Dublin ladies. Like, it's a extremely kind of, you know, it's brilliantly professional setup. Like, the standards they have are so high. So, like, you're feeding off that as well, which really helps.
At what point did you? You're with Kevin English now. Kevin English coaching you.
Yeah, Kevin. Yeah.
When did Kevin come on board to coach
Sorry
you?
for your troubles, Mick.
I was going to go, speaking of experts, the podcast, but Eric went the other way.
I was wondering when Kev was going to come up. Like, so Kev, I actually seen Kev down at the Donaghy 50 last year. So
right.
I'd Conor Marathon booked for the April. So this was the February, and, like, I ran okay. I think it was my first distance over a marathon. Ran just over the 4 hours, and was like, okay, good. And I remember I was messaging Kevin. I was kind of hemming and hawing about getting a running coach, and he kind of went onto the Strava and he goes, "You negative splitted Donaghy." Like, he goes, "There's something there if you want to start taking it a bit more serious." He said that's a hard thing to do. And I said, look, I have the Conor Marathon Ultra in the end of April. Like, so we, like, phone call. what is it you want to get, all the usual kind of onboard and stuff, like, and then
Yeah.
started doing the sessions, and I was like, gee, like, I wasn't running right, really, in that kind of way. I was like doing my own thing, like every run was the same pace, and then like I could just feel everything kind of transforming, things starting to click, and kind of going, all right, this is what it's meant to look like and what it's meant to feel like, with a bit of guidance. And then like the Conor Marathon, I think we started off with like just be under 6.5 hours, be 6 hours, whatever. And I ended up coming fourth in the Conor Marathon Ultra, the 63K.
Wow.
And I was like, where did I was shocked. I genuinely was. And I don't know if you know about Conor Marathon, like you do. There's a half, there's a full, and then there's a marathon, and you all go out in these buses. And when I say 4 seasons in one day, it was like lashing rain when I got there. Then it was like beautiful sunshine, and then the last bit was like the end of the day. It was like up these steep hills, driving wind and rain. There was people walking backwards. But the thing is, you don't know, like half marathon Hughes Ultra, so I had no idea where I was. So like coming fourth was a shock, but I didn't know where third was, I didn't know where fifth was. I was just getting me to the end of this race. But then I like coming out of that, I was like, oh yeah, Kev, like we're sticking around. Let's do this, like, you know. So then he was like, oh yeah, and then I was thinking like the marathon time went from 3:49 the first year, 3:27, so that was like full Gaelic season, half the Gaelic season. And then Kev was like, oh yeah, you can do sub 3 this year. And I was like, God, I thought that was another like 2 years down the line. He's like, no, trust me, you can do it. And I think back to the GAA thing, like any session he gives me, I just do it to the letter of the law. And I don't think I've missed one in over a year now, a session. No injuries, no nothing. Just go out and do them. And like, I thought I'd need a couple of bites at the sub 3, but I got it the first attempt, like at 2:57. I was just like, I was delighted with that, over the moon.
Touching on that, Mick, about transitioning into running and then learning how to run, and I say that like we can all run, but there is an art to it. And I know we've any amount of information and gadgets and watches and everything, but working with a coach can take the thinking out of it. And what people overlook is the accountability factor, and putting that trust in a good coach to be like, John, if I just stick with this, if it works after 4 weeks, it works. If it doesn't, we're probably not compatible. And a lot of coaches will say that. Sometimes we're not, you know, and sometimes you do need to change it up. What way did the journey of running feel for you? And because I always say, you know, sometimes the journey of running is not nice when you're trying to get back into it. When you're going out bursting every run or every interval session, you're like, this is hard, I'm not really enjoying it. But when it opens up for you and you start to see results like that, what's the difference in the journey then when you're I suppose enjoying it and seeing progress, and then someone else is doing the thinking?
Yeah, like it's definitely, I know they say running is like a drug, but it's infectious, like, and you start surrounding yourself with people who are doing like kind of long runs and like that. I'll get into the club bit, like, but you start finding your tribe a small bit and you're like, oh yeah, like this is great. But like when things start clicking, there's no better feeling. It's like putting a ball top corner, like it is, like, and it doesn't have to be on a race day. You could be out and you could hit like a pace for the first time and go, like, that was class, like that's brilliant. And I know, like, with new runners or people new to running, like all of the PBs, everything is happening like the first few weeks and months, and you're like, oh, this is great. But you start to then like really respect the distances and the times. And like the thing with running is there's just so many levels to it. Like you go out there and you think you've done it like an amazing 5K, and you look and you've come like 200 and something, you know. You do, like we were at the Dunboyne 10K yesterday, like, you know, and that field was just unbelievable, you know, the runners, the club runners. So like you might, and that's what's great about it. I think everyone gets what they need from it, you know. And like if you start comparing yourself to others, you're absolutely goosed. I know that saying, it's the thief of joy, but it is. But like my motto is like, right, this week ahead, how am I going to approach it? Right, here's my session, run it. And you need to find the joy in it. If you're going out the door and you're kind of going, oh, I have to do it 10K at this pace, whatever, like you have to frame it positively in your mind. I know we all have bad days, we've work, we've kids, we've all that. But like if you're not enjoying it, you kind of have to look inward again. You kind of go like, what am I getting from this? And you know, that might look different. That might say, right, grand, I'm going to take a step down here or go this way or whatever. But if you're going out the door and you're putting the runners on, like you're luckier than so many other people who can't do that. And I always just try and find like what's the simple joy in each kind of session, or even within a session. If I'm drifting a bit or I'm kind of going like, oh yeah, why are you here? What's the purpose? What are we going after today? You know. And I think that's how I kind of break it down.
When you're doing your training, Mick, because you're after going from, Dublin a couple of years, getting that sub 3, but in between that going Connemara 63 kilometres, and then you talk about Dunboyne 10k. Like, what does get you out the door? Is there a certain distance where you're like, I really like to train for this distance race?
Yeah, and I think I'm still kind of discovering that. Mostly getting out the door is just to get a bit of time away from the kids. But
Hopefully they're not listening to the
I
podcast.
always like that. My wife did the marathon for the first time the year just gone, and I maintained she only did it because I was getting out for like 3 hours for the long run at the weekends. So I want some of that alone time. But no, like the thing about running as well is like you can go down to the park run, which is amazing, and it's 5k. Or there's some events in Ireland like the Connemara Marathon. Like I'm doing the 6 hour. The one in Leixlip and those one. So
Yeah.
I'm doing that on the 11th of April, so I'm training for that at the moment. Like that's unique in itself. You've got a challenge there where you're on the track. I think one of you guys did it a few years ago. Like it's unique in itself.
Definitely wasn't me.
That would be me, and I suffered. I know that's a great one. Yeah, that was fun day out.
Yeah, so that's next to the agenda, but like there's more. Then I'm doing Chicago this year as well, so like there's the mountain piece. But I do. There's something in me that kind of goes, oh yeah, like the Connemara a bit, like the longer stuff, the ultra stuff. Like there's lots more to come. But like I'm also mindful, like I've got a young family and a job and all that. Like, and I'm in that absolute admiration of some of the guests you had, and they're doing like 10 marathons in 10 days and all of this amazing stuff. And I'm kind of going, that is absolutely class. So I'd love to do it. The reality of it when you're a dad and all, it's hard to like fit it all in. So, and again, it's back to the comparison piece. You just have to kind of go, right, well, what can I do in the time that I have, and what's the best that I can get out of myself, or where can I get to? Because if you start kind of looking around you, you're lost. Then you have to think about what motivates you or what distance you can get to. So that's kind of what's next for me. Short term is the 6 hour race, and then Chicago will be the main focus for the second half of the year.
Hydration is key to fueling endurance performance.
Perform Nutrition's Electrolytes Plus sachets have been specifically designed to fill the need for advanced hydration for athletes.
With 1,000 milligrams sodium, all essential electrolytes, and 2,500 milligram performance blend made up of glutamine, taurine, and coconut water powder, one sachet will replenish and revitalize your hydration.
Using natural flavors, natural colors, no added sugar, and no added fillers, each sachet has a sweet and lightly salted fruity flavor and comes in either mixed berry or citrus.
Informed, sport tested, and trusted by Olympians such as Kate O'Connor, world champion boxer Aoife O'Rourke, and pro triathlete Nikki Bartlett, and many more elite athletes.
Trust Perform to fuel your excellence, and by listening to this advert, you are supporting Irish businesses and this podcast. Now let's get back to the episode.
Now there is another option, Mick. You could just run faster and get more in.
Says this lad.
Yeah, look, if I was running as quick as Mick, I'd get so much more done. Mick,
This is true.
And I do say that, but you took to the field, and when I got to see you running, and in fairness, you were cruising in the 50k when I got to see you. When you see those guys coming around that, do you envisage going that little bit further? Because a lot of these guys would be in the 100k races, they'd be chasing bibs. The Anglo-Irish Plate only happened recently. I know time, and you've just alluded to it, not right now, but when you see these guys and you're building, and let's be honest, you're very new to it with a coach. Do you see that as being something that'll tickle your fancy in a 100k?
Yeah, like I wouldn't say no. My wife might say different, but I wouldn't say no. But like, there's the other thing as well is like I'll be turning 40 this year. Like, so that's like there's the age category stuff, and there's masters, and there's loads of great stuff. Like I've never done cross country because I wasn't brought up in athletics. So you're kind of going, oh, there's novices there, there's 40s there. There's so much in the sport now that like we didn't even know about these like 5, 6, 7 years ago. Like running and for the better has exploded, and it's way more accessible to everyone. So whether it's 100k or it's putting on cross country spikes for the first time, you could still find the same joy in that, or the same newness or whatever. And I think the important thing is like find something that kind of makes you want to get out the door. Like, and that, like, I'd love to do 100k or to start tackling bigger distances or higher terrain or whatever it is, but like it could be something as simple as first shot across country, Mick, can I ask you a question? As a dad and having had a sporting career, and obviously parents who supported you through GEA and football and stuff, and as you said, running is now a part of your life. You didn't know it as a kid. Would you look differently on what you would encourage them to try in terms of the diversity they can have to aid their sporting career in whatever? Obviously, you want them to choose whatever they like, of course. But would now athletics be something you would consider on the radar for your kids based on your later experience and knowing what you know about your own childhood and your sporting career?
Yeah, yeah. Like it's funny because I kind of said at the start, like the exposure we had to sports was like Gaelic hurling and football, and that was really about the level of it. Like you had to live in certain parts of Dublin or Ireland to like do rugby, for example. That's only like newly kind of expanding. Athletics just wasn't even on the radar. Like like if you ran in Clondalkin in the 80s or 90s, like people were looking at you funny or that kind of way. Whereas now, like everyone's
You're
at,
running from
like,
something.
yeah, running for something from something or like whatever else might be. But no, and like my young lad religiously goes to the junior park run on Sunday morning, and it's starting in Corker Park here, the park beside us. At the moment, we go to the Ivy grounds, and then I'm seeing him playing soccer, and I know just looking at him that the athletic, like the doing a 2K every week at like 6-7 years of age is helping him move around the pitch better. Like it's just it's clear to see. My other lad does taekwondo, for example. He's up at the rugby club on Sunday morning, so already they've been exposed to double the sports that like I or we would have been exposed to. And like I lived in Australia for a couple of years, and when you go over there, you like, oh man, we are living like so far behind. They are like surf life saving. Like there's netball, there's rugby league, there's union. You're kind of going, wow, like this is class. And I suppose it's with your own kids. I'd obviously love to see them do some of the sports I did, but it's about exposing them to as many of them as possible, and whatever they want to go to, like that's it. My older lad like did not want to go near the foot. When I brought him up first, he was the one sitting on the side of the pitch, and there was me like still captain in the Gaelic team going, can't do this.
You're embarrassing me.
People like, yeah, exactly. So I was kind of like, oh yeah, but I didn't. Like one of the lads who was a year or two older than me, he had a son similar, and said, just leave him. Just leave him. And now, like, he just constantly kicks a ball around the house, breaking stuff. And he's like, can we watch the highlights and who played? And he's naming players I don't even know anymore. And you're kind of going, like, that was the right thing to do. Just kind of let them find their own path and their own journey, and they will. But I think, like, the number of sports now is like double and threefold, and athletics is one of them for sure. Like, that's new. And you look at the telly there this week, we're watching Kate O'Connor on the telly, and you're watching like, Griggs and all these people, and you're going like, wasn't even that much coverage, and you get Sonia O'Sullivan in the Olympics or whatever, something huge, but you wouldn't have got the exposure or like the ability to watch a World Indoor Championship and be able to kind of say, oh, they're Irish or whatever, and like people reaching finals and winning medals.
Yeah, it just seemed like once every 4 years, the 100 metres or something beyond the running, and that was it. That was athletics done for 4 years. The other part that's really exploding, Mick, is running clubs as well, such as North Clondalkin. How did you get involved with that?
Yeah, like, so I'm been from Clondalkin all my life, and it's like, the way people are proud of where they're from, like they say Donegal people, or you'll always see someone in a Mayo jersey. I'm like that with Clondalkin. Like I just absolutely love the place. I played Gaelic with Towers for years, and then like I saw North Clondalkin and the running club, and I'd only started my own running journey, and the first way I was exposed to them was I was doing a fundraiser in the Gaelic club for a new Astro. And I did a marathon around with a few others in the club. We did a marathon around the Gaelic pitch. It was like 84 laps of the Gaelic pitch, which will stand me in good stead for the 11th of April. But this speaks volumes of the club. Like, without even kind of being asked, they heard about it, and they had the North Clondalkin gazebo up on the day with the tables out and all that. And I was kind of going, that's really, really cool. Like, they didn't have to do that. They were up there, they were supporting, they had music going, all of that kind of stuff without us even kind of asking it. And I was kind of going, like, that's the type of people you want to be around and be associated with, and that, And I think there had been one or two clubs starting to pop up in Clondalkin that are now gone. And I think North Clondalkin has just gone from strength to strength, and it's like on the back of its people. I mean, it's nothing without its people. The committee is like really well run. They do things properly. I think there was you know, it was COVID. The club will be 5 years old this summer, and I think they had their first meeting up in Liffey Valley, and it was kind of like, oh yeah, how do we go about this? And it was COVID, like where a lot of clubs came from, and I think there was lots of people running them, but they weren't quite sure, like, what does this look like or how do we go about this? But they've just gone from strength to strength. I think the members, like 70 or so in the first year, and that had a core group of kind of 20 to 30 showing up, and some would and some would, and then that went to 80 to 90, and now it's 120. And they used to have these blue t-shirts, and they'd be running around Clondalkin, and people called them the Smurfs because the colour. Yeah. But you know, it's great, and like even with the coaches, so I think they started off at around 4 coaches, and now they're into double figures, and that's people wanting to be better and give back. Like, so all Athletics Ireland accredited and so on. Like, so like that's all volunteer based, which is great. And then it's just so welcoming and like inclusive. Anybody who turns up on a Tuesday and Thursday, you're just straight into the group. There's no kind of like standing at the side. It's about making them feel welcome. And I think the biggest thing with the club is like they'll meet you where you're at. So like they do the couch to 5K. I turned up, like I had done 2 marathons already and turned up, and they were like, you get treated the same as everyone, and it's like you find who's at your pace or whatever, and they just kind of put the arms around you and go, okay, like let's go. Which is super, you know.
Has the club, and obviously I know you're still involved, and you've touched on it with the ladies football and your own coaching of the kids, but being a part of that club, and you're competing against yourself, but you're still having that kind of, we're training for something as a group. Has that made the transition easier as well? And how important, because I know you have a coach and everyone is individual, and that's why I think it doesn't really matter who's coaching, but when you go down as part of a group like that, how important is that to keep you running and keep that journey happy?
Yeah, no, it's huge, and like we all have this wanting to be part of something and belong to something, and like you would have seen down at Donadee, for example, like when the lads had like a double tent set up from 6:30 in the morning, and in the back one, I don't know if you know, they had a heater in the back of it. Like there was 3 of us running. Like
I didn't tell John, but I saw it anyway. I got good use of it, I think.
I'm glad I didn't know about it.
And you kind of go, oh, like this is class. Like when they show up, they show up. You know, they really do. And like we have a couch to 5K graduation group now this coming weekend, and it's our third kind of iteration of that. Like, so that, like the first iteration of that are like the bulk of our members now. They've gone on to run marathons. My younger brother is a coach, and he took a group of them last year, and now they're starting to do kind of long runs for the Dublin City Half. They call themselves the High Babies because they graduated out of junior grade. They're an absolute gas. So like, that's kind of like, that's what it's about. It's about like getting people out who probably wouldn't normally run, getting them to build their own confidence, their own kind of resilience, all of those stuff. Like, you don't know what someone that's come to that club training has gone through that day. But I just think the way everyone approaches it, and it's like the thing about meeting you where you're at is like, it's so important because it's kind of like there's a group for everyone, and they just make you feel like you belong. And like there's a crew of them just went over to Malaga. They're just back from the Malaga half marathon. No different to like the crew that you had with Barcelona. I'd say they had the crack. A couple of them went to Rome. And when we normally go to a run like the Sheriff Street one that was on there, like there's like 10, 15, 20 of us going in as a group, and that makes you feel part of the team and really helps with that, like, you know, moving away from a team sport. So, you know, you feel like you're definitely part of something bigger, which is really cool.
The mad thing is, like, even saying I went to Sheriff Street with, you know, they have a running club as well. It must be the only sport we have in Ireland where like different clubs kind of interact together. Like, you've seen it at Donaghadee, like everyone's having the crack. Like, even if we saw people, like Eric saw people at the table, didn't know from any given run day, giving them bobble hats or just giving them encouragement or whipping people with a hat really as well, shit like that he was doing. But all the different running clubs, the people were there really helping each other out, and like it's really class to see that there's no kind of, from what I've seen in the running community, probably people listening, there's this and this, but from what I've seen, there doesn't seem to be any sort of ego. It's like our club versus that club, or like if you see another club going to Malaga or whatever, like, that's really cool.
Yeah, like you've hit the nail on the head there. I mean, we've done stuff with Waterstown Warriors or down the road. We've done like a joint park run day, and like you see, we've gone in force to like the Liberty stuff, the Inner City Running Club, Ballymun. Like there's just a good kind of vibe to it, and I think it's quite unique there. Just that you mentioned it, if you go to another Gaelic club, like you're kind of looking at them and you're kind of going, oh yeah, I had a fight with him a few years ago, or or whatever. But that doesn't seem to exist now. Maybe at the sharper end of it, with like the elite, like the more elite clubs, I don't know, there might be something there, but definitely not like between the local clubs around here. It's kind of like, we're all on the same journey. We're all trying to do the same thing. Everyone's trying to just move in the same direction. So like, there's nothing to be gained from any kind of competitiveness amongst yourselves. It's about kind of lifting each other up more than anything else.
Yeah, and then some of the elites who've been on have actually said that they spend years disliking, I suppose, to put it mildly, their fellow competitors, because they'd go to bed thinking about I have to beat, he's out trained. And no different to when in any other sport, when you're competing at that level, you have to beat the people around you and you have to know about them, you have to think about it all the time. But even they say, as they reach the kind of latter years, when it becomes to, I suppose, move from middle distance or shorter distance into longer distance, they kind of go, do you know what, they weren't actually that bad of a person or an individual, it was actually. And they also say, like, without them, they wouldn't be who they were, and that's, I suppose, the beauty of even the elite end of it, is you need those other people to sharpen you, to keep you training, to keep you focused and keep that competitive edge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One of as we talked there about different clubs and different supporting each other's races. One of them you got coming up now, this 5 mile route coming up the NCRC on June 14th. Is this the first year it's running, second year it's running? How did that race come about?
Yeah, so we would have had a club race. Like last year we did a 5k, a 10k and a half marathon. And the year before we would have done a 10k, and it kind of started off, there was colour runs, more community based, but kind of as we've evolved, haven't moved away from that community based aspect, and they still do lots of stuff like that. But it's kind of like, okay, well, what can we do? What distance can we do, or where can we do it that like we'd be kind of known for? I mean, there's some clubs that are synonymous with races and distances and so on, and you're kind of going, well, what can we do? And I don't know if you remember, you probably do, the 5 mile used to be the opening of the Dublin race series. So there used to be the Dublin Cork 5 mile, then it was the Fingal 10k, then the Frank Duffy, and then the half. So we've actually taken the same time frame, so it was always kind of early June, and it's the exact same route. So if anyone's done the race series 5 mile before, it's the same. So like, we're kind of just encouraging people who are probably starting their marathon block, who want to use it as part of a kind of longer run if they're further down the journey. But like, it'll be nice, friendly, kind of welcomed atmosphere. It's all closed off, so you're not out running on roads. It'll be well signposted. All the permits are approved, all the kind of good stuff. So like, we're really looking forward to it in the club, to kind of showcase what we're about and what the area is about. Like, in Cork Park is like, I am biased, but it's a class place to run. Like, there's lots of kind of fishing lakes, and it's just really lovely, and there's views of the Dublin Mountain. We're kind of spoiled in Clondalkin in that way. Like, we've got the canal out towards Hazelhatch, and then you've got Slave Valley and the Dublin Mountains just up the road. But the Cork Park definitely kind of holds a kind of a special place for people from the area. So I think it's cool that we've gone in and done that. Like, that race used to be like, it was a top class race. I think Hugh Armstrong won it the last year of it. I think he won all the race series that year. But so we've just kind of said, yeah, like, why change something that's worked in the past? So the route is there. The logistics are all there because we know it's been held before. So that's kind of why we went for it, and picked just the one distance this time rather than kind of do a couple of distances at once. And like, the 5 mile is a lovely distance, I think, especially because like, if you're further down the line, you can kind of really go after a time. But if you're only starting out and you've got the park run level, it's kind of like, it's the next gap then, isn't it? It's the next stage. It's 8k, or if you're Eric, you might do a 2.7k based on the Barcelona.
Yeah. I was actually just thinking, I was hoping you were going to say a 19.7k half marathon. Well, look, it's look, when I get me miserable marathon going, Mick, I don't think many people will get past 19.7k for some reason.
The park seems too nice, Eric, for your miserable marathon, so I won't be there. Seems too nice a place for a miserable marathon.
I can't wait till the day they have their tents and all set up for the race, and I bring a helicopter into a hover and blow the whole thing apart just because Mick abused me.
Donald's only up the road, so I think it's more likely than not.
Mick, how exciting does it see you? Because now you're seeing the organisation side of the events, and we've had a couple of event organisers on. There's a lot that goes into taking care of people and making sure they enjoy it. Now, there's obviously bring a horse to water and all that. It is a 5 mile, but seeing that organisation side of it, have you much respect for them, what goes into managing a race?
Yeah, I do, and I'm not going to try and take any credit for it. There's a committee after being stood up, and like they're brilliant, and like they will look after everything to the letter of the law. Like in the WhatsApp group there, and you can see like they're all over everything. Like, but it doesn't just happen. You know, there's the right from the kind of the pyramids piece, the planning piece, to like they spent ages even designing the medal, for example. Like the medals are class. They kind of have imagery from Cork Park and so on, and then all the logistics, stewards, marshals, barriers, timing, your water and bananas or whatever it might be at the end. Like there's just so much goes into it. Like, and you definitely have a huge respect for anyone who puts the hand up to do it. But like the stuff that you wouldn't even think of, and you're kind of going, oh yeah. It's probably just when it doesn't happen that you kind of go, oh yeah, where was that or where was this? But yeah, like the guys on the committee there are all over it, and you know they're gonna put on a really, really good day. I know that for sure.
You don't really know how well a job is done until you see it done really bad at a race. Like, oh shit! But hearing a few race directs and stuff we've had in the podcast before, any notion or idea I've had before of doing something like that is completely gone. It's shocked Eric so much there. I think he's frozen. Yeah, no, he's frozen. He's definitely gone there. Switching gears slightly on this one, because you've done loads of different things. I saw before fundraising. You climbed Kilimanjaro before, didn't you?
Yeah. Just that feels like a lifetime ago. But yeah, I did that for the Irish Cancer Society.
Right.
I don't even know how long ago it was now. It feels like a lifetime ago. It was pre-kids anyway, but that was class. It really was. It was like such a cool experience.
Does that open the door then a little bit? I know it's a different kind of adventure and long kind of thing already, but would something like that play with your mind to go, okay, looking towards, you know, you're back towards your long distance and stuff, your 100Ks and all the rest, having experienced something like that, would you still kind of chase that kind of journey with longer runs, or are they completely different?
No, like I'm a real. I get slagged, like I get called the German, because when I plan something, like there's a spreadsheet and there's everything is down to the T, which is probably like some of the longer stuff is, I love it because I get me a nutrition dialed in and all that. So I probably learned a few bits about planning during that more so, and what to bring and what to have and what not. And that's probably the piece that's translated. Like the physical task of walking up Kilimanjaro wasn't crazy. It was brilliant. Now the group I was with were really, really cool, and it was great to like raise money for the Irish Cancer Society, and that was deadly. But it's probably the planning thing I took kind of most from it.
Right.
Yeah, and like I've kind of translated that over a bit. Like, so stuff like nutrition, pace, and strategies. I kind of love all that. Like I love that side of running and exercise as well.
And with all that now, so you've obviously got you've got Chicago coming up, you've got this coming up in June 14th. Any other races coming up soon, Mick, or is there anything that you've done that, for example, you say you listen to different podcasts and different run clubs? Is there any of these events you've been to, you're like, you know what, apart from your own, is there events out there like, you know what, more people should be going to these kind of events that really took your fancy?
Yeah, like I did the Run the Line earlier in the year as well, and a lot of us from the club went up. So like I think the trail running piece is another like really exciting bit that I'd love to get into. And like I'm starting to look at kind of the IMRA stuff, and like that looks like really, really cool as well. And you know, you get notions, then you start reading books about these different things, and you're gonna go, oh, that looks class. But like I think, but even for training, like I'd head up to the Slade Valley there, like, and I do a bit of training up there, because it's just, one, it's good for the head to be out in nature, but two, it like just recruits different muscles, and you're going up and down hills and so on. So probably into the trail or IMRA stuff like is really cool. And that Run the Line was deadly. Now I don't think the Art O'Neill is on the cards for me after hearing your experience.
Senior times, Mick, give you a lot better than I would, and I think you take to a lot better than I would.
Yeah, that looks class. I'd again, something like that would be exciting, because there's the planning element of it as well, and there's the strategy side of it, and you know the bit of
navigation and so on. So like that would be cool. But like, even to be honest, I'm just the 6 hour race in itself is going to be like getting the nutrition right for that and the pacing strategy right. So like, I mean, speed means nothing on a 6 hour race. It's about not going too early or blowing up and eating when you should, and like should you have the mix of solid food and gels and all that. So all of that kind of comes into play and for that. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. I've kind of done a good bit of early racing this year, because like I did the Tala 5K on Paddy's Day. Really, really cool event. And
brilliant.
what was great about that one was they had an 800 meter, 1,200 meter, and I think a 1,600 meter for like under 10s, under 12.
Oh,
So
class.
my young lad did his first race there. So I got to see him do that on the track, and he got a medal and he got to feel the buzz. And then like I went off and did the 5K, like, and then we were like at the end got a picture with, when you're kind of going like, that's a deadly, like, kind of not full circle, but it's kind of great to see him dip his toe in and that. Like, so I think something like that is really cool, to have the juvenile races on the same day as the adult races, you know. And that's something that, like, a hat tip to Tala, because it was done really, really well and they made them feel special. I went over to right before the race started and I was like, yeah, all right. And one of the guys who had just met him was like, knew my son's name, like, and he's like, oh, he's grand or whatever. And I was like, that's like, you know, that's really, really cool. And like, he's been talking about it ever since he got to run on this running track. So like, the likes of that just makes you smile and go, that's class.
Brilliant.
I suppose the lack of realization as well, because they have a medal and you have a medal, and distance doesn't really matter. So they're like, yeah, well, we're both the same now, and the talking points are different then for a few weeks after.
Yeah, that's a funny one, because I think he thought I was winning all these races, and the first time he came out to see me run, did everyone get a medal? And I'm like, yeah, no, but I did the daddy race, whatever. And he's like looking at me and goes, yeah, you came like 300 and something, then you still got a medal. I'm like, I wish I could have kept that one going a bit longer. Yeah, deadly.
I'm going to put you a little bit in the spot, Mick, before we wrap up the podcast, that this race coming up in Leixlip, this is going to be a distance PB for you, everything going well. And that distance is going to be fairly high, considering, not to put you, you know, on the spot too much, but you did, with 3 hours 40, you hit the 50K in Dundee last one. So do you have a distance in mind you're going to aim for the 6 hours to keep you going?
Yeah, no, I have to have a chat with Kevin on this and planning. And I'd never not have a kind of a target in my head, but like you're doing the maths on it and you're kind of going, but these things you really need to go like, what's my A, what's my B, and what's my C, and kind of work from that. Like, but I think, you know, given where I was with the Donadee, you like, I'd ideally like to be north of like 65K, and then you're kind of going, right, well, how far can you go? Right, you're into like 70, and then are you being greedy then? Like, are you at the risk of blowing up? So look, as we get closer to it, I'll probably work it out. But I mean, around the 70 mark is probably where I'd like to get to, and then anything after that will be kind of bonus territory. And that's like, anything can happen on the day, you know. You don't know what the weather is going to be like. It could be hot, you could, like, all of those kind of things. So it's just about planning.
I'll be there with a lunging whip, Mick. Don't worry about it. You'll get over that 70.
Well, what I do know is there'll be a few from the club there again, like, and like the last day at Donadee, like, one of them had the nutrition kind of knew, give him a gel or water. Like, every one of us that were there had someone doing that. Like, they were there with teas and coffees. And again, I know when we go down here, there'd be all day, there'd be someone there from the club, and like, whether that be someone helping with the nutrition side of things, or lashing out water, or throwing abuse at you to speed you up, or whatever, you just know that you'll get that backing from the club. It's just the way they are.
It was one of those races last year. It was one of the few that when I saw, like, they put up pictures of 12-hour winners and the 24-hour winners and the marathons and like records and stuff like that. I think someone did 240 plus, if not more, kilometers over 24 hours. I could be wrong on that. It was some silly number. It's just bananas, and just got that little bit of FOMO looking at it. I'm like, for fuck.
I think the 6 hour record, the 6 hour national record was broke last year at the same event.
I think there was a few broke. I think
Tim Brownlee, I think his name. So like, he broke the Irish record at that same event last year. Like, he ran like 80 something, not like 85, 86 kilometers in 6 hours. Like, it's like, The lads doing like, yeah, it's crazy stuff. But it's like, when you see stuff like that, it's gonna, again, not comparing, but you're gonna go, it's possible. It is possible. You might never get to it, but like that's the kind of things you need to look at and go, okay, well, I might not be there, but you could be like 60% of the way there, 70% of the way there, and like that's what you have to the way you have to frame it and look at it.
But it's even because, like, especially with something as small as that in terms of 400 meters, seeing those athletes and seeing the pace hour after hour and probably lap after lap and lapping and stuff like that, like it is like, Jesus, at one stage, like, they're just so far ahead, but at the same time, it is encouraging more. I found it encouraging more so than anything else, going, this is possible. Even down in Donaghadee, when I was seeing the likes of Wayne Waldron and Ian Fitzgerald constantly passing, it's like, don't know how they're holding that pace, but they're surely a way.
Yeah, no, it's deadly, and like even everyone knowing those types of names, and you're chatting and going, oh, like that's class, and they're coming past you on the bike, and you're giving them oh yeah, well done, because you might know that they're running around Dublin or whatever. But like, I think that's what makes it so great. You start seeing the same faces and the same people at the races, and you're kind of like, you're not there to like compete with them, but you're there and you're watching. You're kind of going, that's brilliant, that's class. Like that's where they have busy lives as well, or whatever. Like, look where they've got to, or where someone else has got that, and it kind of does give you a bit of a bit of hope that you could get to kind of anywhere near that level.
Mick, for people listening around Clondalkin who might be thinking, or who may have picked up this as it's shared out, how do people get involved? And because the scariest thing with doing anything new is the first night. It's the getting down for that first training session and getting involved. What advice do you have? How can people get involved in your local area?
Yeah, and look, as I said, extremely welcome, and we're like clockwork every Tuesday and Thursday at 6:30. We're in the Collinstown Sport Complex. That's where all of our runs kind of start from, and like it's really easy. Like, just come along a few minutes earlier, introduce yourself. If you want, you can kind of reach out on Facebook, Instagram. We're all on the usual kind of social media. If you want the message before you come along for the first time, that's grand. But on Tuesday, Thursdays, we meet at 6:30, and it's go from there. You're welcomed in. Then there's usually about, I think there's 300 and something do the Cork Park run every week, and there's normally like 10, 15, 20 from North Clondalkin there. Like, so even if anyone's at the park run and they see the tops of the jackets, just come over and have a conversation. Like, that's the easiest way to get into it. Like, the amount of new runners we've got just from conversations and people coming over. So like, either the social media stuff, turn up on a Tuesday or Thursday in Collinstown, grab someone with a blue t-shirt with the North Clondalkin on the back of it at the park run. Like, so like, there's multiple ways, and absolutely, if you're in the Clondalkin area, and by the way, Clondalkin is huge. It's got like bigger population than Longford and Leitrim. It's massive. It goes like, it's huge, and you're kind of going, like, the amount of people there who probably are sitting at home going, oh, I'd love to get into running, but I don't know how or what to do or whatever. Like, come up. It'll be one of the best things you could ever do, and like, you wouldn't meet a nicer bunch or a more welcoming group of people. Like, so some of those Couch to 5K Hoy babies, as I was calling them, like, they're committee members now. No, but they are, like, some of the, like, they shuffled up on their first day, and now they're running marathons, and they're like part of the committee, and they're trained athletics hurling coaches, and you're kind of going, like, that's what it's all about, like, and being that kind of visible presence in the community to kind of go, oh yeah, this is deadly, this is something that I could do as well. And then, like, listening to the Ballymun lads and the model they had in place for like getting young people in, and there's nearly like a sponsorship model where they build it into the yoke, like, that sets off a whole other kind of thread of ideas, and you're kind of going, what can we do? And I know we're doing a pilot now to kind of get age 15 and up into the club, so kind of slowly going down, what it comes with the usual kind of safeguard and stuff, like, and it's all volunteer based, so you're kind of going, like, how can we widen the net here and get more people in? And with that is like, then like, bring youths in, and then it's like, go from there as well. So like, definitely anyone who's contemplating it, just come along, like, you won't regret it.
And for those just outside the Clondalkin area or a little bit further that they can't go down every week but would love to come down to this 5 mile event, can they still get tickets?
They can still get tickets, so it's on Eventmaster, and we have a feeling it will sell out, but absolutely encourage anyone to sign up and come along. It's going to be like a really, really super day, and
And yeah, anyone and everyone is welcome to come along on the day. I think then I don't know when the podcast will go out, but there'll be a discount over Easter anyway. I don't know whether it's going to be before or after this episode, but there's any of your listeners can go on and get that discount.
We might have to put it before, considering the 6 hour and stuff like that. Now you put it out there, you're going over 70 kilometers.
We had a great episode lined up, but now you've gone and scuppered that plan anyway. Yeah, you'll be on next week now, Mick.
This could be either the greatest accountability show ever, or like it'll be like Eric in Barcelona, where it's so
No one else other than me will be there for your 6 hour with water balloons. You just watch this space.
I think on that note, it's been absolutely brilliant listening to your journey. I really genuinely look forward to see how you get on for this 6 hour and then straight into the NCRC 5 mile club race that's going to be on June 14th.
Lovely. Thanks for having me, lads. Really appreciate it.
And that is it for this week's episode of the Any Given Run Day podcast with myself, Mick and Eric. Take care.